Takaba vs Kenjaku is going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to blow your minds. And this fight is a fight that we got that we never knew we needed. Let's be real here. So I wanted to really dive into this with the chapter release just having come out yesterday. And I want to go into how I think it's actually going to play out. And first of all, if you're new here, please be sure to like and subscribe. As studies show, subscribing to this channel contributes to a massive growth in PP size. That's all I'm saying. But Kenjaku vs Takaba is going to be possibly one seriously interesting fight. Like, not only stylistically, but personality-wise too. Because Kenjaku said two things during this recent chapter which piqued my interest, and one of them was the requirements for people to be his friend, one of which was the following: you mustn't be boring and you must be his equal. And these two things Takaba literally unironically kind of fits. You see, Kenjaku throughout the series has literally been doing things simply because they interest him. This entire Cullen Games is set up so Kenjaku can merge humanity with Tengen to create some sort of new higher life form that is literally because it interests him. But in this chapter, Takaba does something that Kenjaku has never seen before. Now, do you know how special or rare your powers have to be for you to impress a sorcerer who's been wandering around for over 1,000 years? A sorcerer that literally came from the golden age of Jujutsu, who has literally seen Sukuna fucking Ryomen at his peak power. They've got to be pretty damn fucking impressive. And right now, Takaba is literally right in front of this man, Kenjaku, after having Kenjaku launch Case Spirits at him, only for Takaba to just get up and call him a shitty monk and tell him he's going to jail. There's also this running parallel within the fight of these two right here, and it's something I picked up, and I've yet to see a lot of other people pick up on this, or I've yet to see them at least anyway. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but Kenjaku has spent the majority of his life trying to get rid of Gojo and the Six Eyes Limitless and all the Six Eyes Limitless users, only for them to just keep popping up like a whack-a-mole. He's tried murdering them when they were born. He's tried fighting them outright. He's tried sealing them away, and every time they just keep popping up again. And in a cruel twist of Jujutsu Kaisen fate, the same day Kenjaku watches Gojo be defeated by Sukuna, Takaba, a man whose Case technique is said to oppose Gojo Satoru, rocks up on that very same day to fight it. Now, I don't know about you, but that's some funny shit right there. But all jokes aside, this fight is actually going to be really good. Personally, I think Kenny will ultimately end up winning or either stalemating with Takaba. And why do I think this? So let's just take a little back. Let's just take a little seat and have a little nosy at the statistics here. Because last time we saw Takaba fight, it was against the same man Kenjaku literally just killed with ease. Iori Hazanoki. And Takaba did some really naughty things to that man. I mean, really naughty. He made a fucking mockery out of this dude. But since then, we've had a big time skip, and while Kenjaku has been in hiding and sticking close to Sukuna for fear of Gojo swooping in from the skies and whooping his ass, Gojo has had time to plan out and more than likely train his students for that time. And I think now we're starting to see the roots of that labor. As we know, Yuji has actively been training with Kusakabe within the dojo, and his last appearance showed us a new possible Case technique that we've all been waiting for. But it's also possible for Takaba, who has also been training, because the last time we saw him, we found out Takaba isn't actually aware of his Case technique, so he isn't actually aware of just how strong he is. This is a man whose technique literally brings forth into reality whatever he finds funny. However, his technique does seem to have a limit. That limit being he can't just affect his opponent like Gear 5 Luffy can, or at least it seems that way so far. We don't have any panels of Takaba actively using his technique to inflict damage on his opponent, because remember, red is taboo, and that's a very important part within Takaba's whole shtick here. But Takaba can absolutely beat the fuck out of his opponent with just raw CE control and raw strength, and that is more than likely enhanced by his technique. Now, that might sound like it is the same as Takaba harming his opponent with his technique, but it's not. There's tiny little nuances here, so let me break it down. I believe Takaba's technique can only affect himself, meaning Takaba is only able to shrug off massive damage by coating himself in sauce, or just simply warping reality to the point as if the damage never happened. Case in point, the most recent chapter. But Takaba couldn't just turn up and say, hey, I think it'd be fun if you turned into a fucking dildo, and thus turn his opponents into a dildo, because, you know, that'd be kind of fucking stupid. So JJK has created someone who is really fucking powerful, but also gave them a juicy little limit here. However, right now, we are looking at a Takaba who has had a time skip. A time skip amount of time within manga is a very long time to train and to work and to learn this technique, which is what I want to bring and present to you my crackpot theory. Takaba might have learned technique reversal. Now, if what Takaba Takaba finds funny becomes reality, then the reverse of that would be what Takaba doesn't find funny would simply cease to exist. Now, this is a crackpot theory, and everything within this crackpot theory is based on simply one page. It's this panel. This panel right here, Takaba is clearly shown not having a good time. In fact, this is actually the most angry we've seen Takaba in the entire series. Like, I implore you to go and check. You can literally not find a single panel of Takaba looking this furious at all. And it actually lends itself as credit to my theory here, meaning Takaba didn't find Kenjaku's attack funny at all, and thus it ceased to exist, which explains as to why Kenjaku explained it in his head as if it's not as if my attack didn't work, it's as if it was forced not to. Now, whether Takaba learned this reversal intentionally or not remains to be seen, but what does this mean for Kenjaku? More than likely, it's going to mean a whole shit ton of trouble for Kenjaku, because if Takaba's technique can oppose Gojo Satoru, and this dude is literally warping reality, and Kenjaku already has an innate Six Eyes limitless users in general, Kenjaku is obviously a massive villain within the series right now, and narratively, I can't see him being killed off by Takaba, especially since killing isn't within Takaba's moral code or compass, because obviously, again, red is taboo. I do think Takaba is going to give Kenjaku an extremely hard fight. My initial reaction right here, I think we got 5 chapters at most of Takaba giving Kenjaku the run around before Kenjaku finally starts to figure things out. And I could be absolutely wrong here, but the way that JJK has been moving recently, it wouldn't surprise me if Kenjaku ended up having to use his entire arsenal of chaos spirits to fend off Takaba's attacks. Because right now, as I've said a couple of times now, the heroes are kind of at a massive disadvantage in terms of just raw power that they are facing. I mean, Sukuna by himself most likely could just wombo combo every one of the students one by one if he wanted to. So it's probably going to be a case of Sukuna's just going to have to run the gauntlet. Everyone is going to have to keep on whittling him down, and it's going to come down to the wire of a victory. Standard shonen trope. Kenjaku is the wild card, though. Kenjaku is someone who I think is going to be the final villain. I think Takaba is going to be an interesting point to this. It could also turn out that we could get an entire crazy fucking plot twist, and Takaba just ends up switching sides because he finds Kenjaku funny. I don't know, but I do know this fight is going to be insanely fun to watch. The personalities and the way that these two are going to clash, their attacks, their techniques, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. But that's my crackpot theory. That is everything from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Much love, big kisses,